It's tremendously loud. Here we go. All right, now we're at the end of the mimer that we started. We're going to start another, God willing, try to finish another mimer today about Hanukkah. We'll see if we can get to it. Here we go. So we're now learning in Torah Or, a book by the first Rebbe of Chabad, and it's talking about the first sentence in this week's Torah portion, that Yaakov lived in the place where his parents lived, the land of Canaan. And the Rebbe explained that what it means was that Canaan is a businessman, and that God is a businessman, namely that he invests the Jewish souls, puts them into the world, and which is not a, so to speak, in his domain, so to speak, in order that they should purify and refine the world, use the world according to what God wants it to be used for. And we sent yesterday that the word megure also has two other meanings. In addition to a place of dwelling, megure also means to gather, and megure means fear. So let's go over that again. We did it a little bit. So let's see. That's what it means. Vayeshev Yaakov. That's what it means. Vayeshev Yaakov, that Yaakov dwelled the Eretz in the land, Megure Aviv, of the dwellings of his fathers. Of his father. Okay, Aviv. The dwellings of his father. And this is where Yitzchak lived. It's also where Avram lived also, but it's where Yitzchak never left the land of Israel. And Yitzchak, of course, was the father of Yaakov. So Yaakov, he lived in the place where his father lived. That was until the story with Yosef, and Yaakov went down into Egypt. And that's where the whole exile of the Jewish people started. Okay, but this is before that. Yaakov lived in the land of the Megure, of the dwellings of his fathers. But Yoshev, this word Yoshev means Heshpala, coming down. That Yaakov came down from where he was. What does it mean? That Yaakov represents an aspect of God. He embodied, he personified an aspect of godliness. Right? Just like Beethoven or someone personifies music, and Einstein personifies, physics, and such and such a person, he personifies, this tennis or whatever. So Yaakov, he personified God. Just as these other people, they were examples that it's possible to be a genius in music, and Yaakov showed that it's possible to be a genius in God, to be united with what God wants. And what does God want? He wants this world to be a perfect place. That's what God wants. That's the idea of Yud, Akev. Yud is the highest aspect of God, so to speak, the first letter of God's name, and Akev is the lowest. Nimshach, that's the heels. That Yaakov drew godliness down. He was an example of how to do what the Creator wants. Because after all, Yaakov was a creation. He was a human being. How to be a creation in this world and to act exactly in the way that the Creator wants you to. And the goal is to make this world a perfect place, not to get out of the world. Judaism made it the main message of Judaism, main message of the Torah, is that this world is good, and the Torah doesn't even talk about heaven. And that every human being is essentially good, made in the image of God. As that's Yud Akev, Nimshach, to draw down the Yud, the highest aspect of godliness of the Creator into the creation, Lios Be'eretz Megure Aviv, to be in the land of the Megure, where his fathers dwelled. Megure, this Megure means where he dwelled, but it also has two more meanings. Pirish, one of them is fear. Ki yogarti is fear of God. And the second one is Lashon Otzer, is a storehouse. What has one got to do with the other? Fear and a storehouse. This is when we're talking about God, they're almost synonymous. Kamod, like it says, Megura Malay Peros, like you have the storehouse full of fruits. It's a kli. It's like a vessel or a container. She'otzrim letocho, that you can store things inside of it. And both of them have the same connotation. How? Ki yiras Hashem otzro. Because it says that the fear of God, this is the treasure. This is the treasure house. Fearing God simply means to be aware that there is a creator. Like you're driving in your car, so you're aware that there's laws. You drive on the right side of the street. You don't go too fast. You don't go too slow. That's God is creating the whole entire world. There's laws. Use your body to go on the right side, right? And don't do things improperly. Now, first of all, like a person who drives in his car, he has to have a basic respect for life. The same thing is in a person that doesn't have any respect for life. So drive on the wrong side of the street. He'll do whatever he wants to impress his friends or who knows. The same thing is in the world. If you don't have a basic respect for the creator, that's called fear. Then you'll do what you want. So it says the fear of God, this is a treasure. And the Cain also B'Dibur Razal, in the words of the rabbis, Otzer Shel Yira Shamani, you have a storehouse of the fear of God. Shehi B'chinas Yira Ilo, this is what's called the upper fear of God. Yira is Boshet, to be ashamed in front of God. We talked about this yesterday. This is bittul. This type of shame is called what we call surrender. Like there's people that they can get away with stealing, but they don't steal. Why? Because they have shame. There's other people that because they can't get away with stealing, so they steal. The king, the president of the United States, if there's nobody above them, so all of a sudden they start to be dishonest. Why? Because they feel that there's no one above them. And nobody's watching them, so you can do what you want. A person that has the fear of God, he's afraid, he's ashamed to go against God because he knows that God is watching him. So in any case, no matter where he is, he's going to be honest. No matter what case there is, he's going to try to be kind. He's going to try to be helpful, try to be brave. All the things that the Torah demands from a person will do because he's got connection to God. That's called the upper fear. That's what Me'eretz Magureyavi, the place, the fear of God, which was inherited by his fathers. We'll see that there's another meaning for fathers also. This is what's called the upper fear of God. The letter Yud of Yaakov's name. That's the first letter of God's name. Shehi Shura Umidgale, that was revealed in Yaakov. V'nikra Magureyaviv, ki Yaakov is the level of Chachma. Chachma is called father. Yud Akev. Yud is the array of this level of Chachma. In other words, you looked at Yaakov, right? Like you look at that whatever a great composer could say, there he is. That's Rachmaninoff. You know what a great composer he is, right? He's fantastic. Wow, that's the man, right? He looks like any other man. What's the big deal? But because inside of him is this fantastic music or fantastic whatever it is, power of leadership or something like that, right? So then everybody's the king comes into the room, right? Napoleon, may his name be ever blotted out. When Napoleon, everybody's saying, oh, this is the boy. He's a person like everybody else. He has 2 eyes, 2 eyes, but you could see that inside of him is something else. That's what Yaakov was. You could see that inside of Yaakov was a revelation of the Creator. Yaakov was like a walking holy temple. What was his job? Just like the holy temple, to bring godliness into the world. Hamshich ad sof kol hadargim, to reveal godliness in the lower levels. But that's what's called chachma, the upper wisdom of God. Wisdom, that's how it's translated, chachma. But really it means life power. Right? Life, the upper life reality of God, that's called aviv. That's called chachma, it's called father. It says that Bina is called mother. Behold, Lord, this is what we call in the upper unity. Oh, 1 second, what happened? Oh, this is Bechinas Yichudi, Lord. This is what's called the upper unity. The upper unity is looking at the world from God's point of view. As Dabkus Rucha Barucha, that you don't look at the world from our point of view. You're a holy person like Yaakov, right? The whole world is just a place where you just have to use it the way that God wants. That's learning the Torah, doing holy things. Learning the Torah, doing the commandments, being surrendered to God, in this upper wisdom of God. That's the Yud of Yaakov's name. But there's also what's called the lower unity. What's the lower unity? The lower unity is to use this physical world to be a vessel for this oneness. Hainu lios kli, to be a vessel for God's dwelling. In order to keep the world going. That's the job of the Jews, is to make this world a blessed place. I mean, you could just imagine. I was just thinking about this. I mean, nowadays there's this whole big, thing about the Jews are thieves, and that they have no right to the land of Israel, and they have no right to be even alive at all, to any place. That's what people say. But could you imagine? The land of Israel is a holy land. Could you imagine what does holy mean? Holy means revealing that there's a purpose to the world, that every human being is here for a reason, to bring blessing, to bring good, to bring holiness, to bring life, to bring happiness, harmony into the world. That's what it means, the holy land. You go to Israel and you feel that there's meaning in life. You feel that you're here for a word. Maybe you don't know what the meaning is, but at least you know you're not here just to do whatever you want to. That it's just a empty world. The greatest you can do is to make money or to get pleasures, and those things just go away. Imagine what it would be if, God forbid, that the Hamas would rule the land of Israel, even the place where they're ruling now in Gaza, right? So they made that into a tragedy. They got billions and billions of dollars. They're doing it just to make tunnels, all sorts of crazy stuff. Right? Imagine the land of Israel is supposed to be holy. Holy means, as it says, holy means godly, that you feel life, that you feel purpose. You feel you're not just here for no reason. You weren't just created by your mother and father. You're being created right now by the creator of the universe. You're infinitely important. Every human being and every detail of the world is important. That's the job what Yaakov wanted to do, to keep the world perfect. Bebechinas kiyum olam, bebechinas malchuto, that everyone will recognize the kingship of God. She'agam bazeh, that also in the physical world will be a godliness. That's what's called the lower unity of God. That even in the most mundane things in the world, not just in the Torah and in the commandments and in the Jewish people and in the Holy Temple, you'll feel God. But in every single human being in the world, every detail of the world, you'll see that it's being created by the Creator for a purpose. That's what it means, revealing God in the world. Yud Akev. That's what Yaakov did. This is drawn down by means of Yaakov. So what do we say? This is, up to now, we've been talking about Yaakov's attitude, or doing holy things, commandments, learning Torah, praying, having this love of God. We said ruta de liba. But there's also another thing. There's another way, hashpala acheres. This is another aspect of Yaakov, and that is to draw down into this physical world God's kindness. Where is this? Shows that. Turn the play page. There you go. God's kindness, mirosh kol dargin, from the highest levels until the end lowest levels. You have to remember that Yaakov was the grandson of Abraham. Abraham was the founder of the whole thing. Abraham was the aspect of love, God's love for us and our love for God. That's Abraham. And Yaakov's thing was to bring this also into the world. So one way we learned about how to do it is by your attitude, love of God. And having with this love of God, Uta Daliba, we said, that begins by the basic respect we said for God, having the lower fear of God. So we have the lower fear of God, we have this upper love of God, and then we said Torah and the commandments. So these are ways to bring God into the world, by prayer, having love, appreciating God, having respect for God, loving God, and learning the Torah. This is for Jews. This part, learning the Torah with this love of God, having fear of God. But here's another thing: charity. Charity. The thing of Yaakov was that's the lowest of all levels. Charity is for poor people. That's what it means, the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan, we said before, Canaan means a businessman, but Canaan is also the lowest place in the world. It's an interesting thing. In the Torah, there's a commandment. We read it on Mincha of Yom Kippur, that it says, there's a commandment not to be like the people of Egypt. Don't do like the deeds of the people of Egypt or Canaan. That's what it says. Don't do what the people of Canaan. So it comes out, places in the world are conducive to a certain, I'd say, personality of people. But since Sancheriv came along and near the end of the first temple, and he scattered the people around, so none of the nations today are the same nations as they were before. The people that are now, there's no more, even Yishmael, there's no more Yishmael. The people that are now Yishmael, the Arabs, they're not connected to Yishmael back then, or Edom, or but the spirit is still there. That soul, the attitude is still there of these. So it says Canaan is the most decadent and debauched, how do you say, crooked people in the world. And now they're revealing new sort of, sexual degradations that these Hamas people did when they came in and attacked on October the 7th. But in any case, that's the lowest of the low places is Canaan. Canaan. They're the lowest. I mean, you could just imagine the universities say that Hamas should take over the Holy Land. There's no bigger, joke than that. It's like taking a dog and making him a conductor for, the Philharmonic Orchestra of, it's just like, it has no sense of music, of harmony, of anything. These people have no sense of decency, of life, of value, of anything, just the lowest of the low. So it says that's what Yaakov wanted to do, to bring godliness into the land of Canaan, the lowest of the low places. That's what it means, that to make God even there. Shehu bechinas malchuto yisbrech umelech b'mishpat yamud oretz. It says that the king, God, with just judgment, will make the earth firm, the world firm. It says v'huchan bechesed kiso. How? Also with judgment, with severity, and also with kindness. Shekiyum ha'olam, the whole existence of the world depends on God's kindness and love. Like it says, the world is built on God's love and also on our love, on our kindness that we do to people. Mitzvah, to do the commandments in general, that brings down godliness into the world, but especially the commandment of charity. You see a poor person, give him a dime. You want to give him a dime, give him a quarter. You want to give him a quarter, give him $1. You want to give him $1, give him $2. V'chesed, and kindness. Shalochayach, therefore, he nikras, it's called the name mitzvah. In the Talmud Yerushalmi, it says that a person says, I'm going to do the commandment, it means to give charity. Ki akuli, shahu shakol, that the giving charity is equal to all the other commandments. Like it says in the Tanya. Kindness. And maybe I can illustrate this with a story. I don't know, every day I go, there's a nearby hospital here, and there's a lot of people there. The people, I stand outside, and I have a few pairs of tefillin, and there's a place I put the tefillin down, and I ask people if they want to put on tefillin. So a lot of people put on. Like every day I stand there for half an hour, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour. And, 10 people, 15 people put on tefillin. And I get, of course, ask, would you like to put on tefillin? You get all sorts of replies of people. So one person, I said, would you like to put on tefillin? And he said, in Hebrew, of course, no way, just forget about it. Just no way. Lagamri lo. No, I don't want to. So all to these people, I say, that you should be well, God bless you, and you should have a lot of good news. And the person turned around to me and said, that's what I need. I don't need to put up. That's what I need. I need to hear a good word. Thank you very much. You said me a good word. In other words, you want to do a religious ceremony. I'm not interested in religious, but something human, to say something kind to a person. People can go their whole lives, never hear a kind word. You say a kind word, that's because the world is built from kindness. It would have been nice if he put on tefillin also, but at least he heard a good word. So that's what says. That's what I need. That's what. Okay, now let us go. We finished this. Let's maybe even stop this. We're going to stop this here, and we're going to 1 second, 1 minute. I'll do this thing 1 minute.